Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to jump right into his bio now because we only have 2 hours. From Wikipedia, Glenn Howard is a retired Canadian curler who was one of the most decorated curlers of all time. He's won 4 world championships, 4 Briers, 17 Ontario provincial championships, including a record 8 straight. He's made 20 Brier appearances, playing in a total of 227 games. And we can bring him on the screen, guys, if you don't mind. I want to read this quote from the news this week. Hi, Glenn. From Canadian Press. Four-time world men's champion Glenn Howard announced his retirement this week. He's battled knee problems in recent years, ending a career that lasted over 40 years. Former teammate Brent Lang said, quote, from Barrie, Ontario, Wayne Madaw had a saying that to skip, you've got to hit and stay and draw the 8-foot. I think that Glenn Howard is the best ever to do that.
Wow.
Applause from me for the career. Yeah, did you hear that quote, Glenn?
I did not.
You heard that?
I'll have to send the check in the mail for Brent for sure. That's really kind of him. He's, as you know, he's been one of my best teammates I've ever had in my career, among so many others. And I really appreciate the comment from my buddy.
I'll tell you something. Between you and Jennifer Jones, couple of greats riding off into the sunset. I'm sure a lot of people have made that connection. But let's just talk about you for a second. Was this tough to announce or not so tough to announce?
You know, Rod, I knew the time was coming soon. The body's getting a little bit beaten up. The hard part for me right now is my mind wants to play. I still want to be out there. I feel I should be out there. I love being on the ice. I love competing. I love playing with my son. I just want to be out there. My body's telling me otherwise. So it wasn't really the way I wanted to go, out in the greener pasture sort of thing. But it is what it is. I'm at peace with it now. I understand. Who knows? Maybe my knee's going to be better in September. But I hate to wait till then. Come September, try and throw a rock. Say, hey guys, I can't curl. And that happened to me almost this year. So I just don't want that to happen. And the knee's getting worse and worse by the minute. And it's time. And it is, but it's bittersweet, to be honest with you.
You're like all the greats. That's what made you great. But you mentioned being out there. Does coaching not scratch that itch because you're out there, or is it not the same?
It's not quite the same, but it's close, Rod. It's much better than not being out there at all. I've been able. I coached Steve Muirhead for 3 years, from 16 to 18, and then I coached Jennifer Jones, 2 of the greatest curlers I'll ever live, and I've been blessed to have them with Jen the last 2 years, and it's awesome to still be out there. And at this point, I was still competing, but if that's what's going to happen in the future, I'd love to keep coaching. I'd love to keep my hand in it. It just keeps me in the game, keeps me current. Again, to the point, I'm still out there, albeit I'm not on the ice. I'm sitting behind the sheet, which is still fantastic. I love the game. I love the sport. I love everybody about the game. All the athletes are amazing. I want to still keep my hand in it, and I think that's the best way at this point.
Well, how many have asked you about television?
I've had a few. I've never ever had any formal offers. I've done a little bit of broadcasting, locally, a little bit with Sportsnet, but very, very little. Nothing on the national stage. I guess that's something I could consider in the future. It's not really right there with me right now. But again, I've never been offered, so maybe that's not going to happen.
Yeah, well, I guess what I meant was how many people asked you if you're going to go into television is what I meant. Yeah, not how many offers you've had. But, I was thinking about this the other day with LeBron James' kid coming up, Bronny, and he wants to play with his son. You got Gordy, Mark, and Marty Howe. To be in that group's pretty cool. That's another thing that's a feather in your cap that not too many guys get to do at a really high level that you've done.
And you nailed it, Rod. Like when about 8 years ago, I had the worst day of my life. I had to call up my best buddy, Craig Saville, and say, Craiger, I'm not going to be curling with you next year. I want to bring my son on. I know it's the end of the line. I want to finish my career with my son playing with me. And honest to God, I thought a couple of years. It was 8 years ago. And I've been blessed to be able to, and for the last 8 years, absolutely incredible. And to your point, who can say they were able to play with their son or their daughter, whatever, at the highest level? Like, we're not playing for toasters. We're out there playing, in the big leagues, all the big spiels throughout the world, the country, playing it. We played in a couple of Briers together. Like, it's the best thing, and it's kept me going. Scott, when he joined up with me, kind of lit another fire under my butt. I said, you know what? I'm not going to let my kid down. I'm going to work at this and still make some shots. And we did remarkably well. Really, for 8 years, we did quite well. Were we the best team in the world? No. Could we beat them? Yes. And it was super fun. And that's going to be tough as well. But he's ready to move on. He's just announced a new team. He's going to be skipping, and I believe that's the position he should be playing. And I'll just go back and maybe coach him a little bit and see how he does.
But yeah, I was going to say, if you coached, it would be them, I would assume, or is that too much of an assumption?
There's a chance of another opportunity I've got in the works. So there I might be a dual thing. Scott and the boys, because of work and everything in life, they can only curl so much. And I probably could do a dual duty, one with maybe a permanent team that does a little bit more, and then dabble with Scott as well. And the fact that I'm not curling will make it that much easier.
I mentioned the 20 Brier appearances. We had Ben Hebert on just last week to talk about the huge shakeup that he's in the middle of. And I said, this last Regina Brier, I watched it all because I'm friends with Caitlin Schneider, Matt Dunstone, that whole gang that came through Saskatchewan, all representing other teams. I said, was this the best Brier ever? He said, for him, it was. And of your 20, Scott made some clutch shots too, man. Like, whether it was the best or not, it had to be up there, Glenn.
100%. Like, obviously, I would love to have been able to play. I played all year, and then it just got to the point where I couldn't play, and the boys went on to provincials, and I gave them a 11th hour decision that I wasn't going to be able to play provincials, and they went on. Scott took the helm, skipped 3 players, won a provincial, go to the Brier. And, we bring up Matty Cam, which was awesome. And then I put the coach's hat on. And just to see the boys out there loving what I love to do, performing at a high level. Scotty owned the position. He could tell he enjoyed playing skip. It didn't faze him. He wasn't upset. He wasn't nervous. I was really impressed with all of them, how they stepped up. Because they're all playing in positions they weren't used to, which was really cool. And then obviously Scott played third for me, and now he's skipping. And it didn't faze him at all. I was so impressed with him, and Davey and Tim and Matt stepped up as well. And to your point, it was one of my favorites as well. Just from that perspective, I could sit and watch my guys and my son perform at the highest level at the biggest stage in the curling world.
It sure looked awesome from where I was sitting here in Florida, but we got it all. We won't tell you how. Hey, I just got to say, curling seems to be in great shape as you leave it. New CEO and Nolan Thiessen. Although the Grand Slam's been bought and John Morris is in that ownership group. So there's the only thing constant in life's change, as you know, Glenn. How do you feel about the state of curling here as you ride off into the sunset?
I think, to your point, Rod, I think it is in a great position, a great place. The talent is the best. Well, this is the best I've ever seen it in my entire curling career, and I've been around a long time. The parity across the world, unbelievable. The Asian countries, the European countries, they just have so much talent now. I love that. I just think and I think the Canadians do as well. It lights a fire under our butts. We got a long way to go to keep up. To be honest with you, it's amazing. And I love the fact that other countries are as good or better than us, and that just makes the product phenomenal to watch, to play, and to be a part of. And so I that's why I kind of want to stay in the game. Other than I love to me the best sport in the world. I want to be a part of it, but to keep watching up close the transformation of curling and where it's going is awesome. And again, the talent, the men and women it's just unbelievable, and I just love to see that. My biggest fear though, Rod, is a lot of great talent not sticking with the game. That's a problem we have. There's a lot of young, talented kids. I mean, use the word kids because I'm old. That are packing it in, and for whatever life gets in the way, school, job, family, whatever the case may be, and that worries me. We've got to somehow keep this talent in our sport, and I'm not sure what the answer is, but that's my biggest fear. But at this point, it's in a great place.
Well, sounds like a great task for you to help find the answer to that.
Yes, sure.
And the roles of ambassador or consultant are really great jobs. Glenn, I just want to say it's been so fun to watch you over the years. Congratulations on that tremendous career and all the best. Hopefully we can do this again.
Rod, my pleasure. Thanks for having me on anytime. I'd love to, if you want to talk curling, 24/7, buddy. Cheers. Thanks very much.
Here's your TV job. Here's the job. Glenn Howard, our TV analyst. Glenn Howard joining us. Hall of Famer, man, announcing his retirement. 4 world championships.